Our next guest is a member of the Ross River Denna Council and has seen her passion for sewing and fashion reach new heights on the international stage. Natasha Peter started to design and make clothes as a hobby, as a way of making some extra cash and income after school, but wasn't too long before her fashion was causing a buzz on social media and people across Canada, were asking for custom orders. Last summer, the latest creation of Cascadena Designs was proudly on display at New York's Fashion Week, one of the biggest fashion events in the world. Today, we are proud to welcome her to the show to learn from her inspirations, her aspirations, and from her incredible creations. Please welcome Natasha Peter. Before we begin, Natasha, for the listeners and viewers who may be watching on Facebook or listening on Shone FM, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your nation and a little bit about the journey that you're currently on?
Hi, my name is Natasha Peter, and I'm from Ross River, but I've been living in Whitehorse for 13 years now. Sorry, I'm just trying not to be too nervous. So my mom and dad is Rose Peter. Her maiden name was Charlie, but she married my dad. And I took my stepdad's last name too. And his name's Gordon Peter.
Okay.
So I have a huge family on his part. And then my biological dad is Art John Jr. And his mom and dad is Alice and Arthur John. And on my mom's side is Tootsie Charlie, and her mom is Mary Charlie and Joe Charlie. So I have a huge family, pretty much related to the whole Yukon.
For sure. So just in regards to inspiration, how long have you been doing your art, and what really has inspired you to not only create Cascadena Designs, but also what gives you the inspiration on a daily basis to create your designs?
So I started 7 years ago. I went from working in mine camps for 10 years, and then I switched over to wanting to go back to school and get educated to become a nurse. But that didn't work out. But anyways, when I was younger growing up, my grandma Alice John, she would always tell me what she did to help her to pull through for a little income here and there. Mm-hmm. And she said, with the amount of kids that she had back then, she used sewing while Grandpa went out on the trap lines and went to work and stuff while she was home taking care of the kids. She had 12.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember what she said to me. And when I went to school, I kind of used sewing as for a little bit of income while I go back to school kind of thing. And at that time, too, I was in a dark spot of my life. I was fighting addictions. I didn't know where I was going in life. I think I wasted 15 years of my life before I finally found where I was going. But little did I know, when I was creating my Casco culture and Denna skills that was taught from my grandparents, was healing me. And I think it was a year in of sewing, just random things. I went from like dream catchers to earrings to slippers, just small little things that I knew. And it was healing me, and I was sober for 1 year after. And that was like something really huge for me at that time. And I liked it. And so I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. The more that I was creating, there's people around Canada that came across my page. At that time, it was Creative Denna Designs. And just people from like all over Canada were asking for custom orders. And because of that too, it kind of encouraged me to stick to my sewing. And here I am doing it for 7 years. And I've been doing it I've been selling Canada-wide in parts of the States. and soon probably global, I'm hoping.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing your personal journey, because a lot of people get caught up in the reality that maybe self-worthiness, let alone are people going to accept what I'm doing. How important was it for you to not only, as you mentioned, get your life on track, if you will, but the importance and significance of culture and art was on that journey to helping you, find your way, if you will?
It was hard. It was really hard because I didn't really have anybody. I was just going around meeting other people, talking, and just trying to open up a little bit. And I got little knowledge from them, and I used that. But the big part was my grandparents. And for me, I always wanted a family at that time too, and I knew that my grandparents were getting old, and I knew that if they were going to pass on, who is going to keep the traditional skills alive? Mm-hmm. And because I had that thought in the back of my head, I think that had helped a lot, and it encouraged me to reach out to my grandparents as much as I could. I got really close. I was really close with my grandparents. My mom was a single mom for quite some time before she met my dad. And she would always leave me with my grandparents while she went to work. So I learned a lot from them. And yeah, it was a difficult journey, but I'm pretty proud of myself. And I know that going back into your culture, no matter if you're native, non-native, any culture, getting back into that really is a healing power.
No, and I appreciate that, because a lot of people are caught in that reality, and as mentioned earlier with our previous guests, is just being able to take the risk, right? And being able to, like I said, promote yourself. How important is it for you now to find support and people around you that are not only helping encourage you to continue on, but also your support mechanism maybe within your family in regards to your success?
Well, my grandparents had my Grandma Tootsie. She passed away 4 years ago. She was always the person that I went to, called and stuff. But now I just go to my mom and dad. If I needed help on a certain design that I want. Then I think it was the beginning of last year, January 2022, I started a program through the Incubate North, and they've been pretty good at helping, the business side, where I know the culture side and they know the business side. So that had helped a lot, because they say artists and business people, they don't really go. They have different minds, different brains. Their brains work differently. So I'm slowly learning that, but I'm doing pretty good with it, with the Yukon Construct and then my mom and dad.
So what is Yukon Construct and through the Incubate North program helping you with? You mentioned there's a clash between the culture and money at some points, but what are the values that they're incorporating into your knowledge and also helping you promote through your company?
Well, they've been doing a really good job at promoting my business. They know a lot of funding sources where I didn't even know. And then just writing letters and researching and all of that. I didn't know any of that before I started that program. Before that, I was working 2 jobs, I guess. I was working through, what is that job? Through mental health. I can't remember what they Challenge.
Okay, yes.
They
that's
changed their name to something else. But I was working with them for 5 years. And then the second job was my sewing. So I was doing that for 5 years. Then I moved over to Incubate North. And that helped me to go full on with my business. And that's when everything had just like blew up because I put all my heart, all my like full attention into my work. And I was able to hit my biggest goal within like 6 months.
Well, being on Fashion Week in New York City is probably the top of the totem pole, so to speak. But in regards to making it to that point and not only being vulnerable to the rest of the world, what were the emotions going through you when you're not only being told that you're going to have this opportunity, but also just being world renowned now?
There was a lot of tears. I shocked myself because of the background that I had and not having the education as a business person or going to school for art and everything. Like everything is self-taught from my grandparents that I dearly miss like every day. And I don't know, it's very powerful, and it means a lot to me that I was able to reach my goals within 6 months, and that was like New York and Paris. And for my collection for New York, I had made a few pieces to represent my grandma. Her favorite color was purple, so I used a lot of purple inside of the collection that I had that was walking the runway. So watching my pieces come alive from the inspiration from my grandparents going on to stage meant a lot. And I know that my grandparents are there watching, or was there too.
So in regards to mediums, artists utilize many mediums. What are some of the favorite pieces that you like to work with in regards to some of the mediums that you utilize, whether it be fur or skin or beads or all the above?
Everything.
There you go.
I'm, I guess, a creative native. I like to mix a lot of things together. Like I'm teaching myself the clothing part because I want to do more fashion shows. I'm actually, I have 2 big fashion shows planned for this year, for this fall, but I'm not going to say just yet. Yeah, I just like working with everything.
So in regards to young artisans that are making their way through their life, and as you mentioned, there's been many trials and tribulations through your life, but now has led you to where you are today. What is some advice that you can give to the younger people that may be struggling not only with addictions or whatever it may be in their life, but what is some of the advice that you would give someone today that would not only help empower them, but also maybe give them a sense of reality at the same time?
Always remember why you started. And no matter what obstacles you come or face, there's always it's always gonna turn like I'm stumbling my words here.
It's all right.
At the end of every obstacle that you face, you are always going to come out of it. There's always the sun at the end of the tunnel, no matter what. And you just got to keep your heart and mind at that, and always reach out to your supporters. I always do. I always look up to my big sister or my mom. I'd call them crying feeling frustrated, and they talk to me. And just know that social media too is not a place to go to, because it's a good source to promote yourself, but it's also a weapon.
I appreciate that words as much. And to all the Facebook listeners out there, you're listening to the 50th annual speaker series live at the Kwalendun Cultural Center. And we'd just like to welcome our guests live on Shona FM and also on Facebook Live. And we have Natasha Peter from Cascadena Designs live on the Comfy Couch. So just in regards to inspiration, Together Today for Our Children Tomorrow had that vision of not only a better life for our people tomorrow. I heard a personal story that you've recently had a time to reflect on that little golden booklet. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and what it meant to you?
Yeah, yesterday when I was working, I kind of like picked up the book, skimmed through it, and I saw that Justin Trudeau's dad's name was in it. And I remember during the weekend when I was attending the hand games, a lot of people were like, why is he here? And what is the big occasion kind of thing? And they were mentioning the UFO. But anyways, I saw his dad's name in the book, and then I kept skimming through it, and I saw my grandpa Arthur John, and then my other grandpa, Joe Ledoux, was on there as well. So I'm like, oh, I gotta read more into it. I want to see what's this book about. So I read like maybe 4 pages, and I gotta say, I got really angry and I got emotional. But at the same time too, like, it's very important that everyone reads it, and the younger generation, and to educate people how important it is for children to pass on our culture. And if we don't, then we lose our culture.
The sense of emotion, what does that mean to you when the emotions come to you, like in that sense? Does it inspire you now to create different pieces just based on your emotions, or where does that passion come from, if you will?
Well, when I first started my journey, I don't know if it's appropriate to say this, but
I don't know either, but it's okay.
I didn't want my artwork to interfere politically. You know what I mean? When I read this, it kind of intertwined, like my artwork, because my Dena skills is from my grandparents, and it is important to keep it alive, to pass down to my daughter, who is 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And I want her to pass it on to her kids to keep the Kaska culture alive. And they both go hand to hand when you look at it that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, reading this and how it went about when the trades and everything had come, I did get upset. But at the same time, it's putting logs on the fire, and it's making me want to push more and create more and show people how important it is, that my culture is important, and to show the younger generations and whoever, that it's important to stick to your culture.
But how do you maintain? Oh, there you go. Exactly. I appreciate that as well. Unfortunately, in the world of business, exploitation is a big issue when it comes down to it. And a lot of people have sold their soul for that same opportunity, let alone sold their culture. How important is it for us to not only maintain who we are, but also that cultural identity, and to protect it? Because like I said, people want to manipulate it, especially when it comes to business. How important is it for us to maintain those traditional values, let alone our culture and the integrity of it as well?
Well, for me, a lot of my pieces have stories behind it. It's a lot of stories from when I was younger, growing up, and what my parents had taught me. And a lot of those memories come back from sewing. Like I'll be sitting, and then if I use a certain color or if I use a certain designs, I'll be sitting there and it would come back. And it's memories that I had forgotten from fighting addictions. But for me, I use a lot of stories and I make it really personal, which it is. And regardless of whoever tries to copy that, they don't know. They don't know who makes that or who made it, or like how you're interviewing me. If someone were to interview them about my personal piece, they won't have a reasoning for it.
That's right.
So it's very personal for somebody.
So just in regards to wrapping things up, what are some of your long-term goals that you'd like to have for yourself, let alone in the short term?
I would love to learn more about the business part, because that's a tough one for me, to be honest. But I'm getting there. And Incubate North has been helping a lot with that. But I would love to learn more about the clothing. Like I said, I want to do more fashion shows. I want to travel. I want to show the world who Kaska people are. Kaska Dena Designs actually came from all of the elders who had taught me my skills. It wasn't only one particular person. There was a lot of elders that had taught me my skills, so I'm using that. And that's where I got my name. That's why I changed it from creative to Dena or Kaska. So it just, like with just traveling to New York and Paris, some people are like, who's Kaska? What are Kaska people? Like, we're natives from the mountain, like way up north. And to this day, some of them are asking, like, do you live in igloos? Like, no. We live just like you. It's just, we have cultures, though.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up, once again, if there's any words of advice you can give to the younger generation to not give up, or the resilience that you've been able to break through, can you provide some closing comments just in regards to that message?
Just like I said, remember why you started. Stick to your supporters and just keep moving forward, and always stick to your goals. Like, you have small goals and big goals, and just no matter what, move forward. And there's always going to be haters. Just got to be the bigger person and just ignore it. And there's going to be a lot of supporters, and you just always look at them rather than having, people that don't like you. Because I've clashed quite a bit with some people, and I'm like, that's your garbage. Keep it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Just want to thank you very much, Natasha, for joining us today. And once again, congratulations on your success. We look forward to wherever this world is going to take you. And I just appreciate your open and honesty and giving us the positive message today.